flu. We gotta stick together, cause I know we'll pull through. There aren't many differences between me and you. These differences are nominal, just like the green and blue. Green and blue, green and blue.
What it is, YouTube? It's your boy 202 coming at y'all with some more Phantom Dust content. And what I'm going to be giving y'all today is an advanced tutorial for Phantom Dust. Now, I know it took me a long time to get to this, but there was a lot of aspects and a lot of stuff I was going through with this video. And I'm not going to do a basic video because by now y'all should know the basics of Phantom Dust. But I'm going to be doing an advanced tutorial. Now, this is going to be like a straight out me explaining the advanced, more advanced parts of the game to get y'all to that advanced level. Now, I might be a little blunt in this video, so don't take offense if I get blunt about, talking a little bit down to y'all, but it's 100% supposed to be helpful to help y'all out get better at this game. Now, let's get into this tutorial. All right, y'all. For the first thing in this tutorial is, my advanced tutorial is the mulligan feature. Now, if you're playing on console, if you're playing on Xbox, there is a mulligan feature in this game, and by mulligan I mean it's like a reroll. At the very start of the game, when the game counts down 3, 2, 1, start. At the very beginning of the game, you have 3 seconds to glance down and look at your skills to see if you want to re-roll and get a new set of skills. And you can do this by pressing the select button on the console. I don't know what the select button is on PC, but if you press the select button, it will re-roll and it'll give you a new set of cards or skills by pressing the select button. That's the first part. That's one thing that a lot of people do not know about that you can do. Now, for the second thing in this advanced tutorial is the dazzle feature. Now, dazzle, the skill dazzle is a commonly used skill which stuns you, which is the reason why a lot of people play it, but it also scrambles your buttons for was it 15 seconds. Now, when this skill scrambles your buttons, if y'all are playing on console, if you use your D-pad, the bottom left, bottom left, top, and right, you can see where your skills are. Like, let's say you have a psycho knife on your left, your X button or whatever. You can press down, right, left, and top to find out where your skill is. So let's say you have a defense, they dazzle you, and you can find out where your defense is, so the next time they try to dazzle you again or use a throttle blaster or something like that and you want to use your defense, you can use the D-pad to find out where your skills are while your buttons are scrambled. And a lot of people do not know that, but that is a trick or something that a lot of people found out about that skill dazzle, and that's another thing to help y'all out. Now, for the third thing in this tutorial is the schools of the arsenals. Now, you have a 1 school arsenal, 2 school arsenal, and a 3 school arsenal. What a lot of people don't realize is there are differences in these arsenals. If you're using a 1 school arsenal or 2 school arsenal, your aura recovery speed is a lot faster with those with the lower arsenals. I don't know the exact percentage, if it's like maybe 10% or 20% between each school, but if you're using a 1 school arsenal versus a 3 school arsenal, your aura recovery speed is a lot faster. Now, for those of y'all who play, let's say you play meditation, let's say you're playing a 3 school arsenal and you play meditation in it to speeding up your aura recovery speed. Instead of playing meditation in that arsenal, you could go down to a 2 school arsenal or a 1 school arsenal, and your aura recovery speed will be a lot faster, so you won't have to waste skills like meditation in those arsenals. Now, so let me repeat that one more time. Your ore recovery speed is increased by the lower school that you're playing with. And a lot of people do not know that about Phantom Dust and about the school sets. And I actually didn't know about that until recently. Well, not recently, but you know, a little bit ago, since the new Phantom Dust has came out. And that's another thing in this advanced tutorial that a lot of people do not know about. Now, the last thing we're going to get in this tutorial, I'm going to show this, and I'm going to show this in just a second, but this is the last thing in this tutorial. Now, look at this picture right here. I can say, look at this picture, study this picture, and I can end the video right here. And if you study this picture and study every aspect of this, you will be a master at Phantom Dust. Now, if you do not know where this is located, it is located at the top left of your screen. What separates the greats in Phantom Dust from, you know, the monsters, I'm gonna be real. What separates the monsters, the straight beasts, the best people in Phantom Dust versus, you know, people who are not necessarily mediocre but are good but not in that advanced level is they utilize this graph. I don't necessarily know this skill bar, or however you want to say. I don't know the name of it, but this is what they focus on. This is used, Phantom Dust is kind of like a game of chess. Now, we're gonna get a little in depth of this right here. Now, if you learn this map, this graph, I don't necessarily know where I'm trying to go, but if you learn this graph, basically you advance Phantom Dust. Now, let's get into it. Now, this shows don't look at my name. Let's look at Solus Invinci. It shows his health. He's at 17 health. That is his life. And right up under his life bar, it has 0.5. That is his level. That is the level he is at. And right beside that, it says 0.2. That is his ore. That is the ore he is currently at. 0.2. And right beside that, to the left again, is how many skills he has left in this arsenal. He has 21 skills left in his arsenal. And right beside that are where his skills are assigned on his controller. He has a yellow skill assigned to his top button. He has an attack skill assigned to his right button, and 2 green skills, one assigned to the bottom and one assigned to the left. Now, one thing about this a lot of people don't realize is you have to get used to looking at this graph at least every about 10 seconds of the match. You have to use it like, it's kind of like looking at the rearview mirror while driving a car. Like, you know, when you're driving a car, you're focused on everything around you, your surroundings, where the cars are around you and everything. You look at your rearview mirrors every couple seconds, this, that. You have to treat this the exact same way. You have to look at this to figure out what your opponent has, what your teammate has, how many cars they have left in their arsenal. Do they have a defense? Do they have an attack? Do they have a power-up or this and that? And to be 100% real with y'all, what separates great people from the more advanced to the top players in Phantom Dust is the top players know what you have before you even, I mean, not necessarily before you have it, but while you have it, they know exactly what you have. Now, we're going to look at the person at the very bottom, El Boxo. Look at him right quick. Right now, he has 22 cards left in his arsenal. He has 2 attacks, one on the top, one on the right. He has a yellow on the bottom, and he has a purple to the left. And he also has 0. He's at level 2. Now, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to try to figure out if he has a purple skill at level 2. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to try to figure out what that purple skill is. Did you figure it out? Well, check this out. Any normal person, or any, not necessarily normal, but any advanced person will say, hey, he's playing vicious balance. I mean, is kind of, once you get used to the game and the more you play the game, you will understand. If you know what all the cards are, you will understand exactly what your opponent is playing before even knowing what they know what they're gonna do. Like, let's say they have a let's say like my person Solace Invicti or whatever, he has two greens and a yellow, and El Boxo is only at level 2, but let's say El Boxo is at level 5 with a purple. Not more than likely, but most of the time, majority of the time, that means that El Boxo is about to drop a turbulence. I mean, you have to know what your opponent has at all times. If your opponent is sitting there with 3 defenses, or like if he's sitting there with 3 defense, let's say he has 3 blues. Not all the time, I'm not going to say all the time, but majority of the time, that means he's running a compressor arsenal. If he's playing a lot of defense, he's running a compressor arsenal. So you have to know what your opponent has at the beginning of the game. Just like this guy he's at level 2, he has a purple. Oh man, he's running a vicious balance. You have to pick up what your opponent has at all times. Now, using this graph also, this is another major thing that a lot of people don't do when playing Phantom Dust, is you have to pay attention to your teammate also. Now, I can't stand when I'm playing tag team and my teammate, I would die. My teammate be like, oh, you didn't tell me you were dead. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, you should know that I'm dead. I mean, you can look at this graph and tell that I'm dead. If you are constantly looking at this graph, you should know that your opponent is about to die, or know how much health he has left. Let's say he has 3 health left. You know he's about to die, so what you should do is, now a lot of people don't like to lock on to their teammates. I use the lock on feature on my teammate. If you don't know how to change that, it's in the main menu outside of the multiplayer menu. Go to the main menu, you can change to see if you lock on to your teammate. But yeah, I lock on to my teammate. I do have the choice to lock on to my teammate. So if my teammate is at 5 health or lower, I'm constantly locking on to my teammate to know what general area he is in, because more than likely he's about to die. So y'all pay attention to this graph at all times. That's one thing a lot of people don't do. I mean, I just can't stand when somebody be like, oh, I didn't know you were dead. And I'd be like, oh, dude, you should pay attention to this graph. Pay attention to the graph. I mean, I'm not trying to get mad, but if you pay attention to this graph, you will know what your opponent has. You should know what your opponent, you should already know what skills your opponent have. I mean, if he's running 1 blue, you should know what his defense is, because more than likely he's already used it 1 time, or this or that, or 4, etc., or whatever. But yeah, y'all, it's all about learning this right here. Learning this and paying attention to this graph at all times is what separates the good from the great in Phantom Dust. I mean, if you pay attention to this at all times, look at it just like you're doing a rearview mirror in a car. Keep looking at it every 5 seconds. I mean, it's done gotten to the point to where I even be like, oh, that's a dazzle in your hand. Go ahead and throw the dazzle. Go ahead and use that turbulence. You got 5. You're at level 5 with a purple in your hand. I'm sitting here hitting you. If I'm using dazzle, I'm like, I know you don't like me using dazzle, so go ahead and use that turbulence. I mean, like, go ahead and throw that turbulence. Go ahead and use that vicious balance. I know you have it. I mean, it's like a chess game. It's knowing what your opponent has at all time. It's like if your opponent is running a Bravery Decision Arsenal. Let's say he has 7 cards. You should know he has, like, if you're playing a stall type Arsenal, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out my Arsenal build videos. Check out my stall Arsenal build video. If I'm playing that Arsenal build, if I'm playing a stall Arsenal build and my opponent's playing a Bravery Decision Arsenal build, I can look at how many cards he has left in his arsenal. Let's say he has 7 cards left in his arsenal, because that's how much you need to use Railgun. I can have my stall arsenal with diabolical trick and be like, okay, you can use your brave decision, but you only have 7 cards left in your hand. I can erase your railgun or whatever and then use diabolical trick to crush the rest of the cards you have left in your arsenal. And it's just using this graph to your advantage. I mean, I'm not really giving it justice, but if you study this graph, study what each skill is, study what all the greens are, study what the yellows are, study how much your opponents use them. It's just like at the very beginning, let's say you get your psycho knife or whatever. Let's say you get psycho knife and a bullet of fire, and your opponent is sitting over there with 2 greens and 2 blues. You can rush him and he can't do nothing, because he can't do nothing to you. He might be able to block your stuff, but he won't be able to attack you. You should know when to rush and when to retreat. If your opponent has 4 reds and he's trying to run close to you, more than likely he's running Dance of Death. I mean, if he's at level 5, he has 4 reds, he has either Bundle Blaster or Dance of Death or something like that. So that means he's charging. If he has 4 attacks, he's charging. If he has 4 defense, he's running Compressor Arsenal. If he's at level 2 with a purple, he's probably running Vicious Balance. It's just knowing what your opponent is using at all times. It's knowing what level your opponent is at. It's knowing how many cards your opponent has left in his arsenal at all times. It's knowing what your opponent and your teammate life is at all times. If your teammate is low health, at least know what general area he is in. If he's at low health and the 2 people you're playing against are tag teaming him or jumping him, know where he is, know his general area. So when he does that, he doesn't have to say, I'm dead, for you to, say, okay, where are you at? You should know where he is at. You should know that he's already dead, because you should be paying attention to this graph. Now, I'm sorry, y'all, that this kind of turned into a rant type video, but I just had to get my point through that if you want to become very, very skilled at Phantom Dust, this is the way to go. And I hope you enjoyed this video, y'all. It's been your boy 202. If you like this video, y'all, go ahead and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and hit the bell right beside the subscribe button so you will be notified when I do come out with new content. I come out with a lot of different games. I'm doing a lot of different games right now. So go ahead, and I'm still doing my Phantom Dust. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yep, it's been your boy. I hope this video was very helpful, and I will holler at y'all until the next time. Peace.
on satin. Homies always telling me just keep on rapping. I'ma blow the up while you sleep on napping. You want me to say these things happen.